This is Congress News for the week of May 30th, 2021.
This week, we continue our new Global Intelligence Unit series, State of the Times. The latest GIU bulletin, titled Intensification in the Systems of the Earth, looks at intensification as a description of what is taking place among us as Congress WBN and what is occurring in the systems of the Earth. This week, we explore part 2 in our special GIU series. Let's listen as Marlon Jameson, Executive Attaché to Dr. Woodruff, shares on a stagnated global economy.
A second area is the reality of a global economy that has become stagnant. And many nations are pursuing solutions on a national level, but that will only go so far. And the reason why it will only go so far is because the world has been designed over the last few years to have economies that are intertwined and interdependent. And if we do not find a solution that fits all, then national solutions will only carry us so far, and it will ultimately be ineffective to stave off the reality of a global economy that simply will not start or get back to where it was before. Short-term solutions being employed by nations, for instance, in some nations like the US, printing of money will delay the pressure only for a short time, but it will create more long-term crises and future economic shocks long after the short-term benefit has been consumed. Nations are also protecting themselves. The press to find jobs for increasing unemployed people in their nations will cause them to create more opportunities at home, but more jobs being created at home takes away jobs that were existing elsewhere in the international economy. So a solution created for one nation creates a problem for another. Also risk aversion, because all things are so uncertain in these times. People are not spending. That's true on the level of government, but it's also true on the level of families. No one spends in a crisis. And of course, spending drives the economy. So things are slowing down, and it's very difficult to get things going forward without getting people to spend. But people only spend when they are certain about the future. International trade and business will continue to be limited by restrictive international travel and the movement of labor. And of course, we have falling energy prices, which is wreaking havoc in areas like the Middle East and those nations that have become very highly dependent upon oil and natural gas. These are just some of the issues facing the global economy that is causing things to become very stagnated.
Next week, we will continue this insightful GIU review series, The State of the Times. Stay tuned. Remember, you can also visit cwbn.news/GIU to read about intensification in the systems of the Earth and other bulletins from the GIU. Turning to this week's Battlelines, pray for Dr. Noel Woodruff for the continuous flow of God's divine wisdom into his life, for increased grace, capacity, physical strength, and protection for him and his family. We also want to pray for the Global Congress leadership, oversight coordinators, and development facilitators for enhanced spiritual sight and elevated levels of wisdom, grace, personal purity, and faith. Also for the ongoing rollout of the Kingdom Community Architecture, for God's divine superintending of the process, and the joyful stewardship and accurate implementation in all Kingdom communities in Congress WBN. And your quote of the week comes from Dr. Noel Woodruff. We must be prepared to be an answer to the greatest problem in the heart of man, which is the need for joy, hope, and stability.
That was your Congress News for the week of May 30th, 2021.